Welcome back, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that Parshath build for Speed Duel yesterday. And today I have a Dark Paladin build. I know I've been talking about it. I got this as close to something that I like right now. It's about 60% of the time you're going to end up starting the game with your Dark Paladin. And even if the deck fails to produce Dark Paladin, there's still enough spellcaster control to where this deck doesn't land flat on its face. So I'm not going to put the word competitive in front of this one, guys. I'm going to say this one is a more like a top tier casual build. But obviously, the only card I'm going to show you guys today for the extra deck would be Dark Paladin. And again, you're probably only going to want to run one of these. So one Dark Paladin. The skill I use today is going to be coming from Arcana in Battle City, the Magician's Act. And we'll talk about that here in a minute. Now let's run the rest of the deck, okay? So we're going to run 3 copies Breaker the Magical Warrior, because amazing. Single copy Buster Blader. Single copy Dark Magician. Single copy Jinzo. Double copies Kaiku. And then we're going to run off to our spells. We are going to run 2 copies of Allure of Darkness. 2 copies Book of Moon, 1 Cosmic Cyclone, 3 copies Emblem of Dragon Destroyer, the single Nobleman of Crossout, and triple Polymerization. So if you guys were here just for the deck list, that is the list. I'd like to thank everybody who does subscribe. That means a lot. If this deck helps you in any way, consider hitting the subscribe button. But what's always more helpful, let your friends know about the channel. Word of mouth really does get our views up, and the more views we get, obviously, the more inclined I am to build stronger, tougher decks. So get this one over like 60 or something in a week. If you were just here for the list, class is dismissed. You guys are free to go. We've got a whole bunch of other content that you guys might want to check out. For everybody who wants to know why I built it this way, let's get into that. So the first thing we need to discuss is the Magician's Act skill card. I am totally unconcerned with the secondary effect that during the main phase you're allowed to tribute a monster whose original name is Dark Magician to draw 2 cards. Could care less. Dark Magician should never hit the field when you're playing this build. And then you get one of the following effects at the start of the duel. You can either add Dark Magician from deck to hand and shuffle 1 card from your hand back to the deck, or shuffle Dark Magician from the hand into the deck to then draw 1 card. We are going to use the first effect if our hand is appropriate to making a quick Dark Paladin. Otherwise, we will try to play a spellcaster control. And of course, again, if you guys have a side build, definitely keep like another Jinzo in there. Get the Zoma, the spirits in there. Play the sideboard smart, because the main deck can and will fall on its face every now and again. So Magician's Act, good card, great card. I'm going to put Arcana over here. So Breaker, again, instant 19 as soon as he has his counter. And again, 16 when he uses the counter to deliver a fatal blow to a back row card that the opponent has. And again, you will use him pretty often. He's one of the best spellcaster drops. Buster Blader, we're using what, like 3 emblems of 3 emblems? Yeah, 3 emblems of Dragon Destroyer. That's going to allow us to add the Buster Blader from our deck to our hand. So 1. And again, we're doing the same thing with a skill card instead of utilizing the Summoner's Art spell card, which allows us to a little more fluidly put the cards together, get the pieces in our hand. And luckily, we only need 3. And the other piece is, of course, Dark Magician. So you're going to want him. And then Jinzo for the trap-based decks. Again, I understand that I just put 3 breakers in here. I understand there's a Cosmic Cyclone in here. But it would still be an awful shame if I had Kaiku on the board, or I had Paladin on the board, and I just let myself get hit with Widespread Ruin or some other janky trap card that my opponent is absolutely trying to bust me with. So the 1 Jinzo in the main for the protection, and being a dark attribute doesn't hurt us, especially when we're going for Allure. The only off dark will be Buster Blader as Earth. And then, of course, we're going to run Double Kaiku because outside of Breaker, he's one of the more stable spellcaster starters. 1800 attack power. If he does manage to do battle damage to the opponent, you can banish up to 2 cards in their graveyard that are monsters. And your opponent cannot banish cards in either graveyard. And again, zombies are sort of a thing. Don't let zombie players get you, okay? Going over to the spells, we want the Allure of Darkness. I put in 2. I wanted to keep this deck as close to 20 as possible. And trust me when I say I tried every variation from 20, 21, and even going so far as to try to build a 30 and try to hit the upper limits. And unfortunately, 20 is the best number. 20 is the best number for the most part all the time. And it's all about consistency that way. But Allure, again, you don't want to banish your Dark Magician, obviously, because then you just got to play spellcasters. And the whole point of this was to bust out Dark Paladin and play the boss monster. So that's why we got so many other guys in there to do that for. The Book of Moon, I dropped it down to 2, again, because I wanted to keep ratios going. And again, it's for the same reasons as every other time I talk about it. It's an amazing spell card. It helps stop combos. It stops opponents' plays. And the only thing that you really want to be careful about with Book of Moon is when your opponent does play Charging Gaia against you, you are going to reset the attack value to 23 instead of the lowered 19. And that is that. The Cosmic Cyclone, again, we want to go ahead and target out that back row. The Emblem of Dragon Destroyer, we want to go ahead and tutor that Buster Blader just as fast as humanly possible. Cross out again, give it up for the Shiner. And we don't want to run into cards like Old Vindictive Magician. Even Apprentice Magician can slow us down to the point where our opponent can take away the win. And you need to maximize Polymerization because it is the best of our 3 fusion options. There's almost no difference between this and the Quick Play, except eventually we may get the Fusion Sage spell card, which allows this to become tutorable. Outside of that, there's no tutor for the, I think it was Destruction Swordsman Fusion. The only benefit is if your opponent has one of the materials on their side of the field. And it just recurs itself to the hand at the cost of a card from your hand, and I don't really value that setup. So between that, I didn't want the Fusion Gate. Number 1, you can't bluff with Fusion Gate. I can still set Polymerization in the back row and get you thinking, Waking the Dragons, and I will normally have another 4 or 5 fusion monsters in my stack, making it a little less obvious, so that I can go ahead and do that little mind game. At the same time, we don't care about how many extra spells we do end up with in our hand, because Dark Paladin is our boss character. This is what we're trying to go to. So let's talk about him. Must be fusion summoned. Cannot be special summoned, so Waking the Dragon will never summon this guy. When a spell is activated, quick effect, discard 1 card, negate effect, or negate activation if do destroy card. This must be face up on the field to activate and resolve the effect. Gains 500 attack for every dragon on the field and in the graveyards. Okay, I don't see too much of an aspect where this boy is going to get all that graveyard plussing right now. Unless, of course, again, you're playing something a little more outdated like Dragon Caller. But 2,900, still not a terrible stat. The fact that he can negate spells while having so many other characters help hate on the back row, and especially Jinzo trying to hate on traps altogether. This is a spellcaster variant of trying to do something with spellproof armor, except we can willfully say yay or nay as long as we have a card in hand. So again, I don't mind having the extra emblems. I don't mind having the extra polymerizations. It's all an act. It's the Magician's Act. It's a fun deck, and I hope that you guys get a chance to play around with it. I believe everything here was found, and I'm wrong. I'm not sure. I think Polymerization was in this set. The only card that wasn't was the Allure of Darkness. This is the only non-Battle City card in the setup, but you can get this in the structure decks, and I want to say this was the Merrick Bakura Speed Duel structure deck combo. So that's it. That's all I have for you today. I don't have anything to tease right now. That doesn't mean I don't have something in the works. I will probably take tomorrow off and then work on something for New Year's Eve. You guys stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys next video.